Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this session. I'll give it a second for folks to get connected to audio, video, and get situated. We're so excited to have you here today. All right, so I'll give it another second. All right, so welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our session today. My name is Julie Van, she, her, hers pronouns, and I am the Assistant Director of First Year Programs and Student Engagement here in Corey College of Computer Sciences. Welcome to our session tonight presented by Oasis and Sandbox, two of our student clubs here in Corey. And their session is titled Making an Impact, Empowering Everyone Through Software. And so we have a great session planned for you all. It will be led by our students. And so without further ado, I will go ahead and pass it off to them.
Cool. Hello, everybody. I guess as just before we get started, we'll introduce ourselves real quick, and then we'll jump in. I'm Mitch. I'm the outgoing technical director of Sandbox. Iman.
My name is Iman. I'm the incoming technical director for Sandbox.
My name is Danish. I'm the incoming project lead for Corey Office Hours.
Hey everyone, my name is Olivia, and I'm going to be the Oasis director and a Sandbox developer.
Cool. All right. So before we dive in, can everybody see my screen? Cool. Awesome. All right. So as Julie had mentioned, our presentation is making an impact and empowering everyone through software. So as a starting point, I wanted to ask everybody here a question. Feel free to either unmute yourself and reply or just post it in the chat. But what do you think of when you hear software? First word that comes to your mind, or an additional thought that you have, anything of that sort. Cool, we're getting a couple of answers. What are people's attitude towards software? Is everybody, have you coded before? Do you have software experience, no software experience? I like that answer, Luke. Cool. Well, at this point, we can dive in. Thank you all for sharing some of your thoughts. If you have additional thoughts about software, feel free to continue posting that in the chat. But there were two big takeaways that we wanted to get across for all of you about what software is like. And the first one is that software is powerful. So as a baseline, we interact with software all the time, constantly. It's the way that all of the social media that you interact with runs, all of the mobile apps that you use, and all of the technology and software in your phone, video streaming, whether it be YouTube or Netflix, music like Spotify, or even Zoom, which is what we're using to communicate with right now. Almost everything, so many of the things that we use on a day-to-day basis runs via software. And it's easy to take that for granted, but imagining a world in which we don't have these things, it can be very drastic, the kind of impact that it has on each of our lives constantly. As an example of some of the ways that software can make an impact and is powerful, we want to demonstrate some of the work that students at Northeastern have done from within Sandbox, our student organization, to demonstrate the kind of impact that software can have. And we're going to talk about two of the projects that we've worked on and are continuing to work on right now. The first one is called SearchEU, and I'll play a quick presentation about that.
Hello, my name is Becca, and I'm the project lead for SearchEU, which is the search engine for class and professor information. And this is my amazing team. Diana is our designer, Megan, Puneet, Dylan, Andrew, and Emil are developers, and Mitch is our tech lead. So just starting off with a bit of history about this project, SearchEU was originally started by one person as more of a side project in college, and then when they graduated about 2 years ago, they passed it off to Sandbox so that it could continue to grow and just benefit the community. So that's how it became one of our community projects. I would say that there are two main goals for SearchEU. Number one is to make class information more accessible, and we do that by not requiring any sort of login. And number two, we are taking a huge amount of information that is consistently changing by semester or even being updated by the hour, and we're making it more readable and easier to navigate. So maybe someone is using SearchEU to pick their classes for next semester, maybe they're trying to get into a specific section, or maybe they just need to remember what room their class is in and they're in a hurry. No matter what they're using it for, if they have an easier time answering those questions, then we've succeeded with this application. So we had two main objectives this semester. Number one was to refactor a code base that has grown to be quite massive over the years, and to touch a bit more on that because it's not really something that you can see in a demo. By splitting our code, we're able to have an app that's simpler to deploy, test, and develop for. It also makes it a lot easier to onboard new members onto our team, which is incredibly important given the fast-paced nature of a college club. And then finally, by splitting our code, we created a backend service that can be consistently used and depended on by multiple Sandbox projects, such as Graduate NU, for example. And then our second objective for this semester was to make dedicated class pages for each search result. So along the way, we were not only able to complete these milestones, but also put in extra work to improve SearchEU. And in the demo, I'm going to cover the dedicated class pages I was talking about and also those extra features. So from here, we're going to move right into the demo. Okay, so this is the homepage for SearchEU. Something that we did last semester is we added courses for the College of Professional Studies and law schools, and you can toggle between them on this modal. And the color changes to help give an indication of what school you're in. So if I go to the law search results page, I can see that this blue carried over. And another way I can change school and semester is the drop downs on the right here. So for this demo, I'm going to do this. And there are a couple of different queries that you can make, types of queries, I should say. You can, if you know exactly what you're looking for and you know the course code, you can type that in, and you'll get exactly that course and that course alone rendered. I think the more common scenario is knowing the name of the course, but maybe not like the course code exactly. So you could type object-oriented design or just object-oriented, and you're still going to get that top result, but you're also going to get other results that are generated based off those keywords. So I can see that there's some general information like course description, prereqs, coreqs, NU paths, who's teaching the course for each section and where and when, what campus it's on, and how many seats are available in each section. So for this particular search result, every section has at least one seat available, so it gives an indication of this. However, one of our major features is receiving a Facebook message on your phone if a seat in a course opens up that didn't have them previously. So for example, this one has 0 to 60, but there are 20 waitlist seats available. So I can choose to toggle this on, and I will receive a message whenever a seat opens up directly to my phone. And typically there would be a button here that would prompt you to log into Facebook first, but as a frequent user, I'm already logged in. Okay, so if I choose to view even more info for this class, I can see this is our new feature this semester, is a dedicated class page for a course. I can see that it was just recently updated, so I know that this is the most current information. And it's a lot of the information that we saw in the search results, but taking it a step further. So we do some calculations based off the data that we scrape, such as who recently taught the class, what recent semesters it was taught, and then how many seats are available on average in each section. So on average there are 4 sections, and in each section there are 94 seats available roughly, and of those 94 seats available, about 88 of them are filled on average. If I keep scrolling down again, it's some of the same information, but then again just additional stuff like prerequisite 4 and optional prerequisite 4, which can grow to be pretty long. And if I keep scrolling, I can see all the sections here for this class, and I can even switch between semesters instead of changing this drop down. And if this class was taught on a different campus, I could choose a different one, but this one was only taught on the Boston campus. I keep scrolling. This is co-requisite information for CS 3500, and you can just scroll and start to see the same type of information for its co-req. All right, so there's one more type of query. Maybe you're using SearchEU and you're picking classes for next semester, and you know you need something that fits some sort of criteria, but you don't know exactly what class it is. You can choose to view all classes, and this is going to show you every class in spring 2021, but you can use the filters on the left to help narrow your search. So maybe you're a nursing student or you need to take a class with the nursing subject code. You can choose that subject code and as many as you would like. And maybe you know it needs to be covering the writing intensive for an NU path. You can select that. And from there, like, the filters will update according to what's remaining. So the remaining 2 results are lectures. And there I've already narrowed down from every single class to just 2. So I can help find what I need. And yeah, I think that's just about everything with SearchEU. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much to my amazing team for this semester.
There we go. Cool. All right, and then at this point, I'm going to hand it off to Danish to talk a little bit about one of our other projects called Corey Office Hours.
Hi, yeah, my name is Danish, and I guess what's kind of crazy is that I'm a rising 4th year. I don't really like saying that. The longer I'm here, the older I get. But yeah, I guess the whole thing with Corey Office Hours is that it is a platform to kind of streamline office hours here at Northeastern. A lot of you might be incoming Corey students, and that might mean you might be taking classes like Fundies or Fundies 2 or OOD. And back in the day, pre-pandemic, office hours looked a lot like they do in this picture. Actually, if you look in the center, there's me. A random TA took this photo and I just happened to be in it. Coincidence. But you'd basically, there would be a lot of people in sort of a small room, and then the TAs would kind of walk around helping student by student. And the way to keep track of who's getting help is that people would write their names on a whiteboard, and these lists would get massive. There would be 6 feet tall, 120 plus names. It was really unmanageable. It wasn't organized at all, and it was not couldn't be replicated once we sort of transitioned online. Yeah, so we saw a problem, and the office hours team sought to fix it. So they originally came up with the platform just for in-person office hours. Then the pandemic hit. So once the pandemic hit, the online office hours transition was initially really rough. Office hours were pretty much waiting in Zoom waiting rooms, and you don't know when you're going to actually be let into the meeting. Just giant Google Sheet lists, Calendly links to schedule one-on-ones, and a lot of unnecessary logistics. So during last summer, they had transitioned to a platform of creating a centralized site where we can support classes and students can log on and actually just join a queue and just sort of interact with these TAs and instructors via Microsoft Teams. And yeah, just the concept of one central queue really fixed a lot of things. So over the course of the past year, right, we've ended up, I think, supporting about 16 classes and more in the fall. And over the course of a year, 17,000 people have asked questions on our platform, and 2,200 students, instructors, and PAs have used it. Fundies TA named Brian Drew gave this very kind testimonial about how, I guess, helpful he thought the application was. And yeah, but I guess at a higher level, software is powerful and accessible because I guess we can make systems and things we see in everyday life better, right? Knowing that you could just pull up your laptop and see if office hours are going on right now means a lot. You don't have to actually go to a room in order to see what the queue is like, right? You could just sort of look at a page and have a centralized system for everything. Yeah, so we've directly integrated with Outlook and Google Calendar. Which one will go on? We've sent notifications for when you're getting close to the queue, and if you're a TA and someone has kind of joined a queue you didn't already have previously, a queue that was previously empty. Mitch, would you like to go on? And then with that, we've also been able to aggregate some statistics about how long you have to wait in office hours. So like, if I go at 5 p.m., am I just going to be stuck in line for hours upon hours, or could I get help relatively quickly? And maybe knowing that some days and sessions are better than others. And that's a lesson for y'all. Please don't procrastinate. Please be proactive about your homework deadlines in the fall. But yeah, that's essentially what the application is. And it's just a really cool concept of getting to really see a problem in the school and kind of fix it with software. Yeah.
Cool. So hopefully one of the takeaways from these two projects is that, and all of the whole world of software that you interact with on a regular basis, is that to some extent, software is freedom. You have the power to do almost anything, solve almost any problem that comes to mind, whether it be making it easier for students to access information about courses, or helping students sign up for courses in a timely manner, or if seats open up, or help the university transition to hosting office hours in an online format. When beforehand the format was already chaotic and sometimes challenging to work with for students and for TAs, and including professors. So, regardless of if you're a student or a full-time software developer, whatever point you're at in your career or with software or with computer science, software always gives you the freedom to build what you want. And that's one of the things that makes software in particular so unique and so powerful.
So above all as well, software is really accessible. So unlike other fields, computer science is one of those fields where you can, isn't one of those fields where you have to go through a rigorous amount of schooling or have a huge amount of resources to get into it. It is something that you can pick up just at home. Other fields like being a doctor or going into robotics, you need a lot of resources, you need a lot of schooling, which takes a lot of time. It's hard to get into the actual meat of those fields. But with computer science, all you need is a laptop and the internet, and you have all these and you can start constructing software just like that. So for personal projects, many of you, this could be your first personal project. And while software is a really accessible field, sometimes it's hard to know where to start because of how much variety and how much you have at your disposal. But with all things, you have to start with some sort of idea. This could be something along the lines of even just making a basic fitness tracker, calculating your spendings, wanting to recreate one of those basic retro games like Tetris, or even just making a personal website for yourself. There's so much you can do, but it's really hard to know where to start on doing any of these tasks. So first and foremost, you want to start with the internet. On the internet, there are so many resources that you can find with tutorials and documentations for all these different languages and frameworks. There's essentially an endless amount of tutorials for anything you're interested in. Even more so, if you don't know where to get started on even an idea for your project, you can start with one of those tutorials to get a better grip at any language or software. So if you're interested in making websites, but don't know what exactly you want to make, you can do one of these Intro to React tutorials to get some of the basics. This one specifically on the React website teaches you how to make tic-tac-toe, which is a really great way to just get a grip of whatever language you're interested in. Then there is the Northeastern community all around you, with whether this is from your classes, different clubs, sometimes even your professors and TAs are super willing to help you get started on whatever project you want to do. And a lot of other students also want to get project experience just like you. A lot of the times, upperclassmen in clubs are great resources or in your classes. And for within the classes that you're in, a lot of TAs are just students like maybe a year older than you or a semester older than you. And you can talk to them, learn a lot from them, and a lot of them would want to do these projects with you. So it's a great idea to interact with those people around you. Then there's hackathons. So hackathons are events that are 1 or 2 days long, and your team can go in super beginner friendly. For the most part, they don't require any prep in advance, and they have all the resources and mentors you need to get started on a project, even if you don't know anything at all, even if you have no ideas. They have resources there or like mentors there to help you come up with an idea, help you get started on whatever that idea is. And for the most part, they tend to have a lot of workshops too to help you with those. And people you can team up with. So even if you didn't come with a specific team, there are a lot of people who go to hackathon solo, and then you can find a team there who are willing to help you out. A lot of colleges will have like bigger, more open-ended hackathons, like Northeastern has Hack Beanpot and MIT has Hack MIT. But there's also smaller, more niche hackathons that you can go to, like hackathons focused on accessibility or for healthcare, which are great to go to as well if you want to try winning prizes or build something that like will have an impact more specifically. So to talk about one of my experiences at a hackathon, so my first hackathon was at Hack MIT, my freshman year, where me and a group of friends went in, pretty much no experience. All we had was a couple of the two of the fundamental classes at Northeastern under our belt, which you'll find out isn't too much in terms of knowing real world languages and frameworks. And we created a self-care plugin, which tied into IntelliJ, which is an application for writing code. Up until then, I had never actually written an application that did anything, more just those class projects, which are like little games or like reversing a list, which doesn't really give you a lot. So up until then, it was kind of the idea of software development as a field was kind of separate from writing code for me. I didn't really understand what it meant to write code that did something real and that would actually interact with people. So that was a great way to experience writing real world code, even if it was on a smaller scale.
As another example of a fun project that you could work on and how easy it is to pick something up. The summer after my second year of college, around the time that I was starting my first co-op, a friend of mine and I, my roommate, decided neither of us really had a good understanding of how networks and sockets and some of the way that the underlying infrastructure of the internet worked. And so we wanted to just, build some small, fun little scripts that would send a message between our computers to one another. And then we built that, and then we were like, oh, hey, we can send messages to each other basically in the same way that, we text each other, chat each other. So after working on that, we ended up continuing to add small features to that little thing that we'd started over and over again until we'd incidentally built like a whole new chat application that you could use inside of your computer. And that was really cool because, we hadn't taken a class. We didn't have any, immediate resources or background in it. All we had done was, hey, how could I send a message from my computer to my friend's computer? Googled that on the internet and started from there. And that's how that entire project evolved, is just small iterative little steps based on resources that are totally available, not only to me, but to all of you.
Yeah, and then what's it called? After you get more experience after taking like fundies to an OOD, you have the opportunity to go on co-op at Northeastern, and it's pretty, I guess, spectacular that it's kind of guaranteed that you graduate with more than a year of experience, possibly in software development or any other sector of the computer science field, from embedded to robotics to data science, to whatever kind of your heart desires. You can use co-op to kind of explore what you like and you don't. I'm personally on my first co-op at Chewy at the moment, and I've in the past, I started about a month ago, and it's been like, I feel like I've learned so much. It's kind of immeasurable, like the impact of just getting to work in industry as a mere student, right? And I feel like I haven't been out of co-op yet, but I feel like once you get out the other side, right, you just have such, I guess, more appreciation for the college as well and what they're trying to set you up to get into, right? It's like everything you learn in Fundies 1, you might have heard we use Racket, and there's a thing called the design recipe. We sort of emphasize Java and OOD in Fundies 2. And really these like building blocks are there for a reason. And yeah, it's quite sort of magnificent. Yeah. And some of the other kind of opportunities on campus to allow you to sort of accelerate yourself and sort of get involved in whatever kind of interests and learn what you like and you don't are kind of here. There are plenty of things from like kind of social clubs where you can just meet fellow students of kind of the same background. There's some clubs kind of focused on projects and building projects, and some clubs are more cultural and like or correlate people with similar backgrounds. Really, Corey presents a lot of opportunities to kind of meet people and I guess work on great things with one another. So yeah, this is just the beginning of the list. There are plenty more to come. You could even make your own if you really feel like there's a need.
So how can you guys get involved right now? Of course, there's Sandbox, which is the club that all of us are from. Sandbox is a great community of software developers and designers, not only as people who write software together, but as just a community of friends. Each semester, we recruit new students to join the club, regardless of their experience level. So anyone, as long as they have taken that first fundamentals of computer science class, is open to join or to apply to Sandbox, and we don't expect anything further than that. We just look for highly motivated students who really care about making an impact and working to support each other within the club. So unfortunately, apps are closed for this first semester that's coming up, but for the following semester, you can see applications are going to open up in November. So keep a lookout for those. But in the meanwhile, at the end of this presentation, we'll have some links for you to join the Sandbox mailing list and stay up to date on the different projects that we're doing and when we are accepting applications for the next semester.
Hey everyone. So fortunately, this semester you can get involved with Oasis. Oasis is a program out of Sandbox that is more community oriented and is open to everyone in a first come first serve application. Here, next slide. So Oasis is a actually one more past this. Yeah, so it's an 8-week project development program where you sign up either as an individual or with your group, and or if you sign up as an individual, we'll find you other people who want to work on a project, and you can work on any project that you want, either something that you come in with or something that you come in with your group. And for 8 weeks, you will sort of learn web development, mobile app development, whatever is necessary to complete your project with the help of an experienced mentor on our mentor team. This semester, we're going to have 8 mentors who most of which are sort of like the senior members of Sandbox who will have lots of experience with co-op and their own projects in Sandbox, and will guide you through this process. And so it is completely beginner friendly. We don't require any type of experience, but it's a great way to get sort of something after a semester, maybe if you had some experience already, do you want to start doing web development, mobile app, working on projects that really any project that you can come up with. So if you go, can you go back one slide? So last year we had 23 projects finish the accelerator, 10 in the fall and 13 in the spring. We got maxed out our number last spring. And yeah, 2 slides forward, please. So the reasons why Oasis is something you should consider is because of what I was saying, some tangible project experience, which is not only great for your resume, but it also prepares you for challenges that you may face in co-op and industry. And it also, and I think most importantly, it just will empower you to be able to create any of the software that you can come up with. I feel like that's why a lot of people get into computer science, especially having no experience or exposure to it before. And we really just want to help bridge that step for you. And some other added bonuses is that you're going to be working with like-minded people who are just as passionate about doing software work outside of class as you. And we also have some pretty awesome merch, as some all the other Oasis members can attest. So that's a plus as well. So yeah, thank you all for coming tonight, and we will have signups available in the fall, and I think there's a way to sign up through Sandbox. We'll be on that newsletter. So.
Cool. Yeah. So thank you all for coming. Welcome to Northeastern. Welcome to the world of software at Northeastern. We hope you all had the chance to learn a little bit about both the way that Sandbox and Oasis work with software, but the opportunities that are available to you within software at Northeastern. If you're interested in learning more about Sandbox or Oasis, here's some QR codes and links about ways that you can get connected. In particular, our newsletter, where we'll be sending out updates about what Sandbox is working on, application openings and things like that, as well as the Oasis website if you're interested in getting involved there, or the community Slack that we have for people who are interested in Sandbox more generally, as well as some other links at the bottom in socials and things like that. With that, thank you all for coming. And if anybody has any questions, we'd be happy to talk a little bit about that. Cool. Well, if there are any questions, thank you all for coming. I believe this, good question. I would do 2 things. One, I'd check the Oasis website out and just sort of, keep it bookmarked. But the other thing that I would do is join the Sandbox newsletter, and we'll send an update when applications are available for the fall. I don't think they're available yet, but somewhere towards like mid/late August or at the beginning of September, those are going to open up and you're going to be able to join. And this talk will be recorded, so you'll have the opportunity to look back and find these links as necessary. Any other questions or parting thoughts?
All right, thank you so much to the entirety of the Oasis and Sandbox teams. And so we hope that this session was informational and helps you, motivates you to get involved with either communities. And so if you have any questions at all after our session together, feel free to contact them directly, or I also put my email into the chat as well. So I'm happy to pass along any comments, messages, questions that you might have. The other thing is that we do have a quick post feedback survey that we would really appreciate if you would fill out, just so that we can continue to make sure that these sessions are as engaging and as informative as possible. And so she took only 1 to 2 minutes. The survey is completely anonymous. However, there is a section at the end for you to put in your name and your email address if you would like to be entered to win one of 5 Corey Swag giveaway at the end of the summer for completing it. And that is only for the purpose of being able to contact you, and we will not associate your name and your responses at all. Our next event will be next week, next Thursday, on the 19th, also from 6 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. It is for those who identify as a first-generation student, for you to come and meet other first-gen students, staff, faculty members, and for you to build that community. So we hope to see you there. And then also there's the link to the rest of our programming for the summer and an opportunity for you to also register for any other events. We just want to say thank you again so much for joining us for the session today. And we hope to hear from you, and we hope to see you at the next event. Thanks so much, everyone.